Hi, my name is Daniel Thompson, and I am the sports editor of the Purdue Exponent. We just got the chance to sit down with former Purdue diver and Olympic gold medalist David Boudia, and we talked to him about everything from when he started diving to his plans in the 2016 games in Rio. I guess first off, talk about what your schedule's been like since you've been back in the States.
Well, this has been a complete whirlwind adventure. It's hard to believe Saturday night I was in London diving in a final, and now I'm finally back home. But the morning after the event, our media lady came up and was like, well, can you fly to New York and be on the Today Show for Monday morning? So I took a flight got back home midnight on Sunday, and I've been taking a couple breaths since.
You talk about the experience being first to barely qualify, and then to end up with gold in the individual.
Yeah, I don't think I would have written that story quite the same way, but that event in preliminaries was definitely a difficult event. I think that was the highest scoring preliminary event in Olympic history, but it wasn't a great event. I was 18th, right on the bubble, barely making it. And, as much as I said I was relaxed, I wasn't. I was so tense going into it, and so I woke up the next morning. I was like, well, I can't do any worse than I did yesterday, so nowhere to go but up.
Why do you think you were so tense?
There's a lot of different factors. You're at the Olympic Games. There's pressure that I put on myself that probably wasn't needed. There wasn't any expectations. The plan was to go one dive at a time, and so I got wrapped up in not doing that. But it's crazy when you change your perspective the next day, taking it one dive at a time, and the results outside the top of the podium.
So, for lack of a better term, that you did so poorly on that first.
Yeah, that
helped kind of down the road.
The poor preliminary night transferred into a great next day, and it's crazy.
At what moment did you realize that gold was a possibility?
Well, I definitely, you dream about that moment of being a gold medalist, but I didn't actually expect it to happen. I was hoping, expecting to be on the podium, but the crazy thing about the final was I had no idea where I was placed. And so, the last dive I went in, ran over to Adam Soldati and then the rest of the team. I could tell on their face something was going on, so I looked up at the scoreboard and saw that it was tied pretty much going to the last round, and as soon as I saw my name on the top, I couldn't really fathom what was going on.
How many times did you check?
I think when I first glanced at the scoreboard after the Chinese diver Kubo went, I thought my name was in second, so I was like, all right, sweet, like silver, that's cool. And then I looked again, and I was like, wait, what? And this is a wild, wild dream, and it's totally God's grace, and I'm so thankful for it.
David, talk about when Daly went his last dive. That had to be the loudest ovation you've probably ever. Just what's going through your mind at that point? It looks like it's going to be a great story for him, and you've got to kind of follow that up.
Yeah, Tom Daly and I's story was almost similar. He really struggled in the preliminaries too. He had enormous amount of pressure. He had the whole country, riding on him, and so, he went in relaxed in the final, and so that made me more relaxed. And I just totally fed off the crowd for cheering for him, and it was a cool battle to be able to put pressure on the Chinese.
Have you been able to watch the event, the NBC coverage yet?
I haven't watched the full NBC coverage. I watched tidbits of it, and I'm not much of a crier, but definitely brought tears in the eyes.
So what's going through your head when you're standing at the podium, gold medal, they're raising the flag? What's your thought process?
That's the wildest memory moment at the Olympic Games was, that's what you dream of, middle of the podium, international anthem playing, and that moment, just total memories flying through my head of how I got there, because it just wasn't me on that podium. It was the hard work of Adam, my family, my friends, my fiance, and Purdue has been such a support system to my past 3 years here, and it's incredible able to share that with them too.
So how did you get started diving? How do you get started going up there? Just say, hey, I want to jump off this.
Yeah, that's not common. But at 96, I wanted to be an Olympian, and so I told my parents that, and of course, the supportive parents, they're like, all right, David, but probably in the back of their mind, they're like, this kid's crazy, but They drove me to gymnastics, drove me to soccer, any sport that I was trying to go in, and found this sport called diving in 2000 that I've never heard of, and got good fairly quickly, and I stuck with it, and now 12 years after starting, I'm Olympic champion.
David, we talked before this, and this is everything you wanted 4 years ago, and you came back and said this year medals are, that wasn't the ultimate result, that's not what you were chasing, but now putting everything in perspective, how good does it feel to come back with not one but 2 medals?
Yeah, it's kind of ironic when you, in 2008, when you're chasing after something, you want it so bad, and you don't get it, and then 4 years later, when you change your perspective going into it, and the medals weren't everything going into it, and so the results, two medals. I mean, I couldn't have dreamed of this, but it just shows when you switch your perspective on something, and you do process goals in between that, and you build on those goals, and the results, outcome is what finishes.
It takes some of the pressure off when the women's 3-meter synchro team won a medal, and okay, America's on the board in diving.
Yeah, that was a perfect start for USA diving at the Olympic Games. Was Kelsey Bryan and Abby Johnson on 3-meter winning the silver. Team USA was totally ramped up, and that was 3 days and 3 medals. That was, we could have ended the story there and walked away thrilled, but I think this was the icing on the cake, and this is cool. Gold medal, bronze medal, sharing with Nick McCory, the rest of USA diving. It brings a lot of hope for the sport. It's a good testament of the leadership that we have at USA Diving, and hopefully I can build on this opportunity and create a platform to help inspire the younger generation wanting to be in the Olympics.
You talked about putting pressure on yourself, going into the individual, winning bronze. Did it give you that taste of what it felt like to be an Olympic medalist, and then if you wanted to do that even more, is that where that pressure came from a little bit?
I think the pressure came in from believing all these things that what a medal or a gold medal could bring, and so I started changing my focus. Before I left for London, it was not focusing on the outcome and totally at ease, but the prelims, those lies, those deceptions started pouring in, and so it just constantly had to speak true to myself, constantly had to rely on Adam to trust that whatever happened is a beautiful thing. But bronze medal with Nick McCory definitely started off awesome, and so excited I could share that with him.
So you wanted to experience the Olympic Games a little more this time around. What would you do outside of the pool?
I didn't. I said after the games to Adam, I wanted to see events, but Rio's the one. I'll see events, but I'm gonna come back after that and say I'm gonna experience it as a spectator in 2020.
How tough was that? You had like almost 2 weeks between events, so you're just training all the time. Or you still like a million years.
It felt like I was there for 1,000 years. We left home July 9th. I didn't compete till the 29th, and then I had 10 days after synchro competition. But that's what was different. In Beijing, we stayed in the village, sat there, twirled our fingers. 5 days before the event, we're like, all right, we have 4 weeks still. But we got out of London, went up to Sheffield, did some training. Family came up there. Sunny, fiance, came up there, and then this was cool. After we left Sheffield, there's a family of the diving community that have a huge lodge mansion, and so my sisters and I actually went up there. It's like countryside England, and it just took a breath from the Olympic Games to get out of it.
Talk about the opening ceremonies. Did you get to meet anybody cool from Team USA or anything?
Yeah, 2008 was great because I got to meet pretty much all the big name athletes, but walking into opening ceremonies, in front of me was half the basketball team, and behind me was the rest of the half, so I was sandwiched right in between them. And
so no one could see you.
Well, yeah, no one could see me. I was the short guy underneath, but everyone was asking for their pictures, and so I was just sat there and I chilled, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go walk in with the men's basketball team.
What was the embrace like with Adam after you found out that you won gold? I know this is it had to be a special moment just when I wrapped around him.
It was. Adam has poured so much into my life, my diving career outside of the pool, and to be able to share that with him, he's worked 10 10 times harder than I have outside of the pool, inside of the pool. And so to wrap my arms around him and share that moment was incredible. I think after I hugged him, seeing that I was first place was kind of, it seems like, the whole thing seems like a dream. So I'm still trying to fathom what happened still. It's been 4 or 5 days.
Do you still look at your medals, David, and go, did I really do that? Is it kind of that feeling?
Yeah, I put them on for interviews, and it's like, okay, one's gold, one's bronze. Is this happening? I don't think, you have expectations going in, but I never would have dreamed to walk away with 2 medals. But, I just, again, go back to what I said before. It was all about the planning process and going in and executing the plan. And we did exactly that, one dive at a time. And, it's cool because Purdue Dive is going to start up soon, and I'm going to be here to support them 100%. And so, if I could shed wisdom on them of this experience and, help Purdue Dive and get back up on top again, that'll be a special moment.
Dave, if you got asked this, I'm sorry, did you notice the Purdue flag and the contingency when you're on the medal stand?
Yes. Before the event, we walked out, and so I saw Morgan Burke and the rest of the John Purdue Club. They were behind me to the right. And, that was awesome. But walking on the podium, I saw them and did a little boiler up pump. They were going crazy. My family was to the left of me, not a dry eye, and everyone was hysterical there.
I know one moment that got a lot of people was seeing you hug your mom.
Mm-hmm.
What did it mean for you to be able to share this with your folks, your siblings, your fiance?
Yeah, the support. I would not be here right now without my parents, my family, without Sonny, and so I think I broke a couple rules running up. I hopped over stands and hugged all of them. But my mom she's such an emotional lady. She's sappy, but you can imagine what it would feel like for her son to win a gold. But bawling her eyes out, and that was close. She spent 3-4 hours a day just driving me, being at practice when I was younger. So to share that with her, it's incredible.
You're the Olympic champion. You're allowed to break 2 rules.
I know, that's what the lady. We had an escort, and the lady was like, "All right, we got to go through the other media events." And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna go say hi to my family." So I sprinted down the pool deck, hurdled stands, and it didn't matter at that point.
So what's next? Where do you go from here? You come start taking classes again, training again?
Oh man, I don't want to think
Become a
about
student?
that. Don't classes start Monday?
They do.
Yeah. Sorry for the reminder, Dave.
Yeah, we're gonna take a step back. I plan to take a full load this semester, but considering the recent circumstances that happened last week, I think I'm gonna take a step back. I'm gonna do at least 1 to 2. But I have a big year coming up still. I'm getting married. That's probably going to be the pivotal, best moment of my entire life, even better than gold. And so I can't wait to marry Sonny in October. And this is going to be a whirlwind adventure, and I'm ready to tackle it full on.
Dave, this might be an offbeat question, but besides
I like
diving,
offbeat.
cool, thanks. What other sports do you play?
What other sports do I not play?
Okay.
Except for I'm terrible at golf.
Okay.
I played beach volleyball yesterday. First time I'd worked out since Saturday, and I got out of bed and felt like I was in a hardcore weight workout. But now that I'm done outside of my diving bubble and not allowed to get hurt, I'm gonna try to join an intramural soccer team this semester. Hit up the basketball course, maybe get whooped by Adam or Sonny, and just go crazy with athletics.
Do you play table tennis?
I'm a big table tennis player. After the semifinals at the Olympic Games, Adam and I, we went back, took a nap, and then got up and played probably an hour's worth of table tennis. I was horrible at table tennis, but I can do a little Chinese.
Before you left, you said that you might go to Rio and think about another sport to compete in.
Yeah.
Are you still giving any thought to that, and maybe you want to shed some light on what
Of
that sport
course,
is?
and I can shed some light on it. So this could be way outside shot, but I'm a big dreamer. Dreaming's not a bad thing. So now that I have 4 months off from diving, I'm gonna give a shot at gymnastics. Just the vaulting of it. I did gymnastics before diving, so you watch Michaela Maroney. She'd be an incredible diver. But she kind of inspired me. I think it's possible. So I'm gonna go down to Indy. Bridget Sloan, silver medalist in Beijing, used to train over by where we work out, and so I might give her coach a call.
But still plan to dive in Rio as well?
Of course, yeah. Diving is obvious. So after the 4 months, I'll go back to the drawing boards. I don't know if I'm gonna do 10 meter again. This is a beautiful ending to that 10 meter career, but definitely gonna keep doing synchro with Nick McCory and maybe try to bounce on the lower board.
So that's day gymnastics. That's something. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
I don't think it's ever happened that an athlete's gone in to an Olympics doing 2 different sports. The reality of that happening is probably slim to none, but I'm a big dreamer, so let's see.
Dave, you got asked this before. Morgan Burke, I interviewed him yesterday. He didn't even know the answer to this. I'm pretty sure you're the first gold medalist from Purdue. None of us were alive.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, and I don't know if anyone's told you specifically. What does that mean to represent this university?
It's amazing to represent Purdue University. I think the last Olympic gold medalist is in 1908, and so to bring the gold back to Purdue to just so that Purdue athletics is a sport to be reckoned with, an athletic facility. So, representing Purdue at the Olympic Games, representing the United States at the Olympic Games, it's amazing. Purdue has offered so much to me, offered so much support, and just backed me up 100%. And they're a huge reason why I've had so much success at the Olympics.
How has your life changed? I'm sure if you won a gold medalist, you come back and get back to the ground. But instead, like you said, you go to New York and you're on TV, and I'm sure there's a whole lot of that that comes with being a gold medalist.
Yeah, life has changed a little bit since becoming a gold medalist. This is kind of a comfortable thing now. Cameras, microphones, but this is cool. This is an opportunity for me to share passions that I have for my sport, about my faith, and a platform to share opportunities to share it with little kids. And this is I'm taking it one step at a time. I think it worked in Beijing doing that, so let's do it now throughout the fall.
Where will you keep your medals?
They've been in my pocket most of the time. So, but this is a cool thing. If you just keep it to yourself, it's no fun. So when I get to places, I just give it to somebody, and it's cool that they can have it, and I like to share the wealth.
You took us through that last dive. It was obviously your best dive score-wise.
Yeah.
What is that like? What did it feel? Did it feel different than the other dives?
No, the Olympic final felt way different than any competition that I've been. I've been in the zone before, so like the blinders, the tunnel vision, but nothing like the Olympic finals. I was so relaxed, so content going into it, knowing that whatever happened, God's plan was perfect and holy and good. And so it was surreal thinking back to it. It was almost like I wasn't even diving into it. So I remember swinging arms on the takeoff and then getting out. And so it's kind of bizarre to think that I don't remember doing 3 flips and then diving in, but that's exactly what athletic zone means.
Did it feel like a plus, when you saw the score, did you say, yeah, that was a plus 100 dive?
I don't think I saw how much I got on the last dive. I just knew that I was happy with whatever outcome would be, because I went 6 for 6, and that's exactly what I wanted to do in the Olympic final. And so I watched the replay, and I ran out, slipped out a little bit, and no idea I did this, but I pushed the camera out of the way. But I was so excited to just share that with all my teammates and Adam.
Was that the craziest atmosphere you've been in at a competition with home country, everyone pulling for it and everyone going nuts? Was that?
Well, diving is obviously not a huge sport. It's only big when the Olympics roll around, and so to dive in front of 18,000 people, that's not normal. We come to events and there's maybe 500 people in the crowd. So, for the place to erupt, especially with Tom Daly in front of me, it's a cool moment for the diving world. And, hopefully, this success and seeing that the Chinese can be beaten can make the sport maybe a little more.
Dave, there's a phrase called playing with house money, and at Rio, whether it's diving and gymnastics, are you going to go there and just, you got your gold medal, and the competitor in you says, let's get another one, but still you can go there. Is it a case of, God, I can have fun?
Yeah, this Olympics in 2012 was all about, I can have fun doing it, and that result turned out to be 2 medals, and so Rio is 4 years away. There's a lot gonna happen, so I hope to be in Rio, but you never know. So, like I said, one step at a time. So I think that's perfect advice.
Coolest text message or phone call that you've gotten since you won gold?
It's a hard, put on the spot question.
Sorry.
Okay. What about when you got back? When you got to your phone for the first time, did you have a lot of messages?
After winning the Olympics, my phone was, I think, going in overload mode. Text messages pouring in, emails, tweets, Facebook messages, and so I've tried to respond to as many as possible. And I think it might take me, maybe another 3 months.
Awesome.
How much sleep have you gotten in the last 5 days?
I'm running on pure adrenaline right now. I think going to New York has kind of forced me back onto the time zone, but sleep's not an option right now.
Let me ask you one more thing. Sam touched on it. Adam, and I know you get asked about him a lot, rightfully so. What's something that you see, and one of the few people that see about Adam that makes him such a great coach that we don't see on a daily basis?
Yeah, Adam, I think, is an extraordinary coach, and not just in the diving pool, but I think he can be reckoned to be one of the best coaches at this university, even the United States, just because of his outlook at the sport, and knowing that the sport is something that we do for fun. It's something that we enjoy doing, and so this isn't everything. This gold medal isn't everything, and that's straight wisdom from Adam. And he has a way of processing things that he's allowed me to see it one step, baby steps, and then working as hard as you can to get there.
Ask you what it's like to hear Morgan Freeman say your name.
That's a year ago I would never, 10 years ago I would never imagine that would be on a commercial visa. And Morgan Freeman saying my name it's crazy. I wish I would have met the guy, but Visa has been amazing with support to athletes all around the world and other sponsors, and so it's such a blessing to have their support, to have support from Coca-Cola and TD Ameritrade, and this is a special moment that I can share with them as well. So we'll hopefully share with a lot of their employees.
The Coca-Cola contest, I don't know how that works for the winner, but have you set that up yet, or is that something you have to control?
Well, the Coca-Cola contest, if you haven't entered yet, enter it as soon as you can. But I think they're coming to West Lafayette, which is awesome because they haven't seen Boilermaker Nation. They better. But we're setting up to the end of September, so hopefully we can maybe get them up to see a football game, go in the box, and then show them around the university.
Are you going to be a tour guide then?
Of course.
After diving's done, what do you hope to do?
Let's do 4 years first. Then ask me. No idea what I want to do in the future. This goal has created a lot of opportunities, and so we'll see what paths are going to be paved out.
What's your major?
Communications.
Wise man. Or not that wise.
We'll see. Communication, I think, solid choice. Broad spectrum, don't have to focus on one thing, and so it's perfect that communications is my major because that's all I do.
How important is it just to get away from the swimming pool right now and not jumping off a board, just not having the smell of chlorine on you permanently?
Well, I think I'll permanently have the smell of chlorine, and I didn't think I'd be back in a pool for a while, but now I'm back 4 days after competing. But this is my home. I think I could set up a bed over there and feel comfortable with it.
You had to make some decision after Beijing just to train full time. Obviously, made the decision to come to Purdue.
Yeah.
How have you changed? I mean, you've got a few years older.
Yeah.
You look a little different maybe, but how have you changed? How has Purdue changed?
Yeah, I can't believe I was even thinking about going pro in 2008. Purdue has been the best decision of my entire life. Coming here has shown me, grown me, made me learn so much about myself, about life, and it's made me smarter and wiser as a person. So university has just been a huge blessing in my life. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.